Okay, traders, Akil Stokes here. This week's live room weekend review. Thank you as always for joining me, and let's get started. This week's review is going to be a little different than usual. Most cases, I record some sessions after our live day trading and kind of go over some of the highlights of what we took, why we took it, how it ended. This week, not going to do so much. Didn't record in the sessions. I actually had a pretty busy week after the live room, so I've been in and out of offices and whatnot. So this week we're going to spend just having a little discussion as well as reviewing some of the stuff that happened on the swing trading side of things. And this was actually a really busy week as far as swing trading goes. And coming into the week, I didn't really expect so. We had a lot of fundamental announcements last week. We saw a lot of big movement in the market last week, a lot of directional movement, and usually after you see that directional movement, it's followed by consolidation. Add that to the fact that there were no real major news events or minimal major news events, I should say, coming out this week. I thought we'd just see a lot of sideways trading on the higher time frames and possibly a lot of pattern completion and stuff like that on the day trading side of things. Um, we actually did in the day trading. Actually had a pretty good week. It didn't seem like it because I've been testing out this new aggressive structured trading. I guess this aggressive trend continuation strategy in a room, which just got hammered. And I've been telling traders all week that's why we paper trade things before trading them live. That's got destroyed, which kind of made the vibe of the live room seem pretty down. But I just crunched the numbers at the end of the week and looking at the actual patterns that we took. We saw some pretty good action, capitalizing off a lot of bat patterns this weekend, which bats have just been on fire this year. So that's pretty good. On the swing trading side of things, as I mentioned before, there are also a lot of opportunities between Jason and I. We put out probably about 9 or 10 trades to the syndicate this week. Thursday being the biggest day, where there were 8 cipher pattern completions in the market. Actually, there were about 10 or so on the radar. Only about 8 completed, and out of those 8s, 5 were winners. We had just check my notes real quick. We had pound New Zealand. These are all on 15-minute/60-minute time frames. We had the pound New Zealand. We had Euro New Zealand. We had Aussie Swiss. Those were the 3 losers. And we had winners on Euro dollar, dollar Swiss, pound Swiss, CAD Swiss, and Euro Swiss. So out of 8 trades, 5 out of 8, not bad, not really up to par with what our cipher percentages have been throughout this year, which is around 75-80% so far. This is about what, 60-something percent if I just do the math off the top of my head, but still more winners than losers, which is always good. There are also a few other patterns out there as well. We kind of did I guess a pattern buffet this week, as we had, I know Jason called one in his private client group this weekend on, it was a Gartley pattern on Aussie New Zealand that ended up being a big winner. There was a butterfly pattern on pound yen and euro yen also, I believe, that completed pretty well. I took a structured trade on Canada, which I discussed with live room members earlier in the week. I actually put out a video. I think it was on the Technical Tuesday video. If you go back and check it out, talked about the pound Canada trade, which ended up being good, and an Aussie Swiss trade, which one of our live room members mentioned or brought up in the live room, which actually ended up being a big winner as well. So overall, pretty successful week as far as swing trading goes, and day trading too. So I'm pretty satisfied with how the week went. Now, I just ran off a lot of trading opportunities, about what, 9 to 11, about 12, 13 trading opportunities out there, and one of the, I guess, the vibe I've been getting this week from a few traders is that they're having trouble catching all of these trades. And this is coming from I just finished running my 12-week transformation training course, actually a few weeks ago. So a lot of the traders that have been trained, they somehow survived 12 weeks with me training. They survived that. They're out there. They're starting to I guess start the next version of the trading journey, and they're actively looking and trading the market. And I talked to a few of those members over the last couple of weeks, and they said that they're in the syndicate, they're seeing what I put out, and or Jason and I put out, and there some of them are in the live room as well, and they're catching what we talk about in the live room, but they just can't seem to see it by themselves. And I just want to tell you guys, it's not, if you're having that problem too, I know a lot of traders do. It's not a bad thing. You know, trading takes time. It takes time in the market. That's why the live room is so great. Yes, it's a profitable room. You know, yes, I keep it entertaining, but mainly, you know, when trading the lower time frames, we're seeing pattern after pattern after pattern, setup after setup after setup, and you're training that RAS over and over again. And that's really what it takes to become good if you're going to be a ratio and pattern and even a structure based trader. You just have to see it over and over again until it starts to really stand out for you. And that takes time. It's not going to happen in weeks. It usually doesn't happen in months or, you know, in a month or so. You know, it may take months, it may take up to a year to really get it. So if you're in that predicament, you just got to keep grinding, keep training. You know, after your trading hours, flip through some charts and you know, practice identifying stuff. Maybe if you're a day trader, at the end of the day or some point at night, go back through your day trading session and you know, see if there's anything that you missed. Excuse me. But just keep trading that RAS, that reticular activating system, and it does get easier. Now, I happen to catch a lot of patterns, and you know, I would love to say that, well, I have the best eyes in the business. I can just see everything. I look at a chart, it breaks down, it pops out like the Matrix. Everything slows down, and you know, that is true to a certain extent. You know, I've worked hard on pattern recognition and just trade recognition in general, but I also have the luxury of being part of a, you know, a really good trading group. We have our trade empowered mastermind group. We have essentially a chat form similar to what the syndicate is going to get soon, where there's some very good traders on that forum, and we're constantly pumping in patterns, pumping in ideas. And we all know it's impossible to watch every market on every time frame. So the good thing about having that situation is, you know, maybe I have a pair like Aussie New Zealand, which had that good Gartley. That's not a pair I normally watch, you know. But when Jason shoots that into the chat form, it brings that to my attention. I'm like, hey, maybe I should check this out. Now, of course, I want to do my own analysis on it before I don't just enter it because I see a picture of it. I want to do my own analysis. Um, but it brings me different ideas and brings me something that I may have missed. And you know, on the other side, you know, maybe I put in a pattern that I see. It's like, hey guys, check out this pound yen bat. And you know, maybe I'm just having one of those days. I wake up late and the eyes are still draggy, and you know, I measure something out. I may get a response from you know, a trading friend of mine that says, hey Akil, you realize your B leg didn't reach blah blah blah. And I go back and say, oh man, you're right. You know, this isn't a valid bet. Thank you. So it keeps me out of some bad trading opportunities as well. So um, that's the benefit of trading with a bunch of professionals, and it's similar in the live room. You know, we get a bunch of ideas from a lot of traders and a lot more eyes on stuff than, you know, what we can just watch by ourselves. So that's why I'm so excited about this new syndicate. It makes it so much easier to do that, and I think you guys are gonna love it when that does reach you guys, when it does get finished. I don't know the date, but it's almost done. Other than that, speaking of trading forums, I've been teasing you guys for a while, but I'm almost done that. The write-up I was doing on trading forums about a month ago, we discussed it. I got an idea about it and said, hey, let me interview some of the really good traders I know and get their opinion on trading forums. So I'm almost done that. That should be out early this week. I just have to proofread it uh, and go over grammar and stuff like that, which I hope I don't end up rewriting it all because, well, I'm not the best with writing and words and putting them together into sentences. But we'll see. I should be able to get that to you out this week. So it should be a pretty interesting read. And I'm not just saying that because I'm the one writing it and I want you to read it. So aside from that, that's how the week went. Really good weekend. I want to leave you guys with this. It was a very good email. A very good email I got from a trader, and actually, give me a few. Let me bring that up to you guys, and I'll discuss it. So this is the email I got from a trader the other day, which is some pretty powerful stuff, and it actually reminds me of myself not too long ago. It said, I've been wanting to update you on my progress for a while now, but it seems that every time I take a leap forward, there's an accompanying backwards move, sort of like the markets. I've been getting more profitable slowly, but I never really had a memorable trade until it ended this morning. Pound yen 1 hour using the breakout in the penciled in cipher pattern for encouragement. I loaded a sell Monday, June 3rd. It finally rolled over as if you didn't know. And I wrote it down to my cipher entry. That took me back up to this morning where it stalled at resistance. And I said to myself, I'll settle for 430 pips on target 2. This trade yielded over 1,200 pips based on 2 contracts, he says. And while the gun was held to my head, I forged a more reasonable rule set for my breakout strategies. I had entered too early. So what I can say so what can I say except thank you, Jason, for your mentoring, thank you, Darren, for your cipher pattern, and thank you, Akil, for your error reduction approach. And while I'm at it, a very special thank you to Todd for getting me started and keeping me focused. And going off my philosophy, Kaizen, which means continuous improvement in Japanese, this is exactly what I like to see. You got to realize that this trading thing, it's a journey. It's not going to happen overnight. Trust me, if it happened overnight, there wouldn't be a 90% fail rate. It takes time, and if you're slowly getting better, if you're slowly making mistakes, slowly learning from those mistakes, then you're on the right path. It's not going to be easy. There's always going to be setbacks. You're always going to do something really good. You're always going to make a mistake and take a step back. But if you learn from it, that's the way you get better. And that's what it seems like this trader is doing. He had a memorable trade, and that's going to be ingrained with him forever now. He's going to remember what he did on that trade. And next time that same setup or a similar setup occurs, it's going to be that much easier to enter it. That fear is going to be there. Instead of saying, "Ooh, I don't want to get stopped out. I hope I don't lose any money." He's going to be saying, "Well, last time I was scared, but last time I still decided to pull the trigger, and I ended up 1,200 pips in profit." So learning from those mistakes is important. And I even had a situation this week. If I bring up a chart, I don't have my charts right now. I'll bring up a picture of a chart. I took a trade on pound CAD earlier in the week, and I called the levels. I said, "Look, I'm entering here. Target one's going to be right here. I expect the market to go to this level. I'm going to trail that structure." Well, halfway through the week, as the market moved, as I already cashed out on target 1, what did I do? I trailed that structure, but trailed too close. Going into the overnight, said to myself, I'm going to move stops up here because it's the overnight session. I don't want the market to run all the way against me and get me stopped out for nothing on target 2 if my extended target prediction wasn't correct. Well, what happened in the morning? Well, I come to find out I'm stopped out. I relook at the charts. I do my analysis as I always do after a trade, and with a closer look, I realized that I shouldn't have trailed stops there. Although price action had tested a new structure level, we never technically broke and closed above the previous structure highs, which is a criteria for me trailing stops. So, of course, the market rallies, goes up to the point I predicted earlier in the week, and I'm sitting here with I think it was about 200 pips left on the table that I should have got. So what do? I take a picture of the chart, I write it down. Lo and behold, another trading opportunity comes up a few days later. Similar situation. We're in a downtrend. It's a bearish bat pattern on Aussie Swiss. It was. I say the same thing. I'm going to take target ones off at normal profit area because we're in a downtrend. I'm going to trail a structure and shoot for target 2 at the lows of the pattern. What happens? Well, this time, same thing. Market rolls over. We get a little retracement. We roll over. We double bottom. I think about rolling stops, and then, boom, it hits me. I remember, well, last time, Akil, the last time you did this, you left 200 pips of profit on the table. So I double check my data. I be patient. I wait until I get that lower low, lower close. Don't roll stops too soon. And of course, the market retraces, doesn't stop me out, but rolls over to hit target 2s in the end, giving me a much better profit. So, learn from your experiences, learn from your mistakes, write them down, take pictures of them, put them as a background on your desktop, print them out, whatever you need to do to remind yourself not to make that mistake again. That's what you need to do. And eventually, you'll start making less and less mistakes, Add that to the fact that you're going to start seeing more and more in the market as you train your eyes, and well, more quality opportunities with less mistakes equals very profitable trading. So that's it for this week's live room weekend review. I got off on a topic I didn't think I was going to get off on, but it sounded good in my head. So I'll leave you with that. Um, as always, traders, well, make sure you read the written review as well. If you're just watching on YouTube, shame on you. Go over to the Trading Powered site and check this out. Written review is pretty good this week. uh, so, but I'll see you guys next week. As always, make sure you plan your trade. Make sure you trade what your plan tells you to do, and I guarantee if you follow those rules, you're going to be in a good position in the long run. So have a great weekend. Enjoy yourself some golf, and I'll see you guys in the syndicate next week, and of course in the live room as well. Take care.